So now for this next problem, we have been given the ages of US presidents at their inauguration. And with this, I want to create a frequency distribution for this data with classes of size 5. And then I want to use that to construct a histogram, to draw what the histogram for it would be. So the first thing to get started here to create our frequency distribution is to set up my age groups and then count up the number of presidents that are in that age group. So if I didn't already have my age groups here listed out, I would need to figure out what they would need to be. So doing that, I would be wanting to take a look at my minimum and my maximum. So I see that my lowest is 42, my highest is 78, so I need to make sure that I include those in my distribution for the age groups, that it spans all of those ranges. And I want them to be classes of size 5. So in order to use nice numbers, what I'm going to do is to start off not at 42, but at 40, so that I have 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 50 to 55, and so on, to just keep counting up for all of my age groups here. And now that I have the age groups, I need to count up how many presidents are in those groups. So for our 40 to 45, well, we can see that we have 2. They're 42 and 43. So there are 2 presidents in that group. And now 45 to 50, this is where we want to remember that anyone that is on the upper boundary of an interval, so anyone that's age 50, they're not in the 45 to 50. They are in the 50 to 55. So I want to make sure not to count them. But for 45 to 50, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now 50 to 55, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then next, 55 to 60, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 60 to 65, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 65 to 70, we have 2. And then 70 to 75, we just have 1. And then 75 to 80, once again, we just have 1 for that one as well. So that there would be our frequency distribution, our table for this. And now let's put that onto a histogram. So I already have the axes drawn for the histogram here. On the x-axis, we have the age of the presidents, and I have my dashes for that lining up, matching my age groups. Trying to draw it so that all of them are equally spaced apart in order to try and keep this as accurate as possible. And then along the y-axis, we have our frequency, and here I decided to go up by 2s so I didn't have to draw in as many dashes on the y-axis, because I needed to get up to 14 to be able to have a proper height, because that's my highest value for the frequency. So now let's put in the bars of the histogram. The first one, for our age group of 40 to 45, we have a frequency of 2. So that means we are going to have a bar with a height of 2 from 40 to 45. And then 45 to 50, there was 7 people in that, 7 presidents. So I'm going to go up to a height of about 7 and then bring that bar down. And then the next one, 50 to 55, we need to bring that up to 14. And then 55 to 60, that is at a height of 12. So let's draw in that bar. And then 60 to 65, that needs to be at 7. And then 65 to 70 is at 2. And then the last two here, 70 to 75 and 75 to 80, are both at a height of 1. And that is essentially what our histogram would be. We could add in a title that tells us ages of president at inauguration. But that is essentially all that our histogram has for us. We can see that most of the presidents are grouped between the 50 to 60 range. That's where our two highest bars are. And then it sort of gets lower the farther left or right we go as we increase or decrease the age groups.